We are live, guys. Welcome to our Westworld Season 2, Episode 9 recap show. And this episode is titled Vanishing Point, not The Vanishing Point. And I am back this week. Thank you guys for holding down the fort last week. I was out at E3. I appreciate you guys chiming in. I watched the show afterwards. Trust me, I actually did. And I saw all you.
I totally missed the episode title up at the top. It slipped my mind.
Nah, it's fine. And with me, of course, this week, our usual co-host, starting off with Mr. Andrew. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Just, boy, that was a hell of an episode we just watched. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, one and only Bored all day now, right? It's not Bored anymore?
Nah, bored all day. You know, you're bored at work. I'm bored all day.
All right, cool. Let's kick it off. This episode was really interesting because it focused a lot on the Man in Black, but also we got to see different aspects. We got to find out what happened to Ellie, and we got a lingering question in the end. The Man in Black did two things in this episode.
Yeah, he did. He's a bad father.
He did a lot of two things in this episode.
So one, let's start off with the first one. He killed his own daughter.
Yep. Thinking that she was irrationally thinking she was a host.
Yes.
So that tells me that Ford is really in his head.
Yeah, I mean, he thought the game, he didn't expect his daughter to be there. So he thought Ford, was playing this game with him, this long game.
Yeah, well, and I mean, gosh, like at this point, it seems pretty clear to me that the Man in Black is pretty irredeemable at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he pretty much has lost his rockers completely, and but also he's always been irredeemable, I think, because when he sat down, when we get to the end of the episode, and he sat down and he basically told his wife that he is a bad person. He basically said, I tried to shield you away from that. I am, I try to do good things, but I am bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, homie was in love with Dolores. When he saw the waitress walk by, at first I was like, "Oh, Dolores is at the party." But then when he did the double take, it was
oh no, he's always been in love with Dolores. That's not the issue. But the thing is that even though he loved Dolores, right? At some point we saw in the first season, he snapped, or his bad self came out.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
he snapped on the brother-in-law. That's what brought it out. See, he was kind-natured for the most part all of season 1. And then his brother-in-law.
Yeah, but remember what he told Dolores. Remember what he told
Dolores
in the first season. I can't remember it word for word, but basically he thanked her for letting him, like, almost saying, basically, you let me see my true nature.
Well, that was like at the beginning. Also, he reiterated that at the beginning of this season when we see him, the young version of Will talking to her, and he's like, "Yeah, that's great. And also it doesn't matter how much I use you and how much suffering you go through. I'm going to use you and all the rest of your kind until I get what I want." And it's kind of a weird thing where, like, he knows he's evil, and it's not like, I mean, it's really, I don't know. I really found the dynamics of it really satisfying and how they kind of turned it around. It's just, I'm really interested to see the second question that we were left with.
Yeah, that exactly. So that moves to the second point where, after he kills his daughter, or at least we think his daughter is dead. Let's put it that way,
right?
First, right? Because we don't know. And he walks up and he takes the gun and puts in by his temple, and and then he goes through the whole process, like, his wife. He basically he hears his wife's voice, and he's like, she's like, if you keep lying to yourself, you believe the lie, pretty much. And he just drops the gun, drops on the floor, pulls his right arm out, and then takes a knife to where you usually find a port, right here, for hosts. And he's checking to see if he's a host. So, to me, it's almost like,
was he checking for a host, or was he trying to take like a microchip?
No, he was checking for a host. That's the because remember the reason why is because the way this show works, they showed the Bernard doing that earlier just so that we remember. I mean, it was two options. I mean, two reasons for that scene. One, Bernard was trying to fight off Ford. Two, Bernard. Also, that scene was just to remind us that when we see it again, we remember. Okay, so that's what we got with that. And so the question is, if he is a host, did Ford build him, or was it Ford and what's the name of Ford's original partner again? Who?
Arnold.
Arnold, yes.
Yeah. So that Ford and Arnold build him and use him to take over Delos the whole time.
So do you think maybe?
And then every year he came, he was getting changed and updated.
Yeah, they were testing for fidelity both ways. Maybe. Ooh, that! Oh my God.
Well, I don't know about that one because I mean,
but
you've seen how they were.
See, but that's the thing.
They were scanning the humans by hats and all this other little garments was scanning the brain. So I think the Man in Black is actually
no. It won't matter because Bernard also passed that test.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that part does not matter. You can fool that. It's software. It really is not. I mean, Bernard passed that. Remember, a lot of the places to walk. Remember when Bernard was supposed to walk into that area where it was like human, it required a human touch. When he went with what's the black lady from Delos? Her name again?
Oh gosh,
Tessa Thompson, man.
Okay,
Tessa
Thompson. Right, cool. Thank you. Tessa Thompson is like, oh, it's fine. Like basically it was a human scanner, and he was very hesitant, and he touched it, and he walked through. So that aspect, I think, is fine. You can clear on. But the thing is, if he is, then how did he have a child? That's if that's the case. But again, that's just speculation. But
I think that was the real Man in Black.
Hey, look, he was checking for a port, so who knows? I mean,
if you think about it, look back to when his wife killed himself. Right before that, he always kept looking at his arm, like if there was something in his arm that he was checking for, like if it was like a robotic arm.
No robotic arm. He had this when he said he had an itch. So here's the thing: why I feel that he might be a host. Because this is them saying that we never deviated from the original Westworld. Yeah. Because the Man in Black was a host and he was there to terrorize. That's what he was in the original.
And the real
show.
William died. Like, gosh. Like, see, at this point, when would the real William be out of the picture then in the timeline?
Maybe he was replaced. Maybe that's the case. Maybe not. Who knows? But to me, at some point, there was a change. That's what I think. Or maybe that's a form of fidelity where they actually had used William over the years for that. And also talking about how, it was interesting talking with the daughter, and we find out how the daughter got the card because the wife heard the whole thing. I mean, he basically killed his wife. Yeah, I almost feel like he did that on purpose, telling her there. Because she just went to sleep, really.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of a like, well, we see he saw her in, emotional limbo, and it's almost a worse form, it's like purgatory. It's like, just get it over with, and essentially almost like a burden you would think, and from his point of view, off of his shoulders, despite the fact that it cost his wife her life.
But see, I don't blame him for her death. He assumed she was asleep. So he was speaking to her like if she was sleeping. But little did she know, she pulled the ruse and heard the whole thing and noticed that he put his little profile card in a book. She looks at that on these awesome-ass tablets that they got in Westworld. I mean, seriously, they work with your finger embedded. Man.
Yeah, okay, but that's the thing, though. Like, that part I didn't like. Ford set a trap. No one should be able to access his data.
Yeah.
You know how his wife used her fingerprint. It should have been his that I helped. You know, so Ford knew what he was doing.
Oh, of course.
So to me, that's why I say I have a feeling he is. We find out he is because everybody's going to the door. We've seen the preview for next week. There's a mishmash of timelines, you know, because we see, or maybe not, because because we see, or maybe there's mishmash time because we see the brother-in-law, the younger version of him, there. As well, we see Ford, Maeve also, and we also know what happens to all the hosts, why they die, because that's what Delos Corporation actually did.
One interesting point that Paul in the chat's bringing up is, what about the music box? It was supposedly thrown away, but it was found. It was supposedly thrown away when she was younger, but then it's back at the end. Do you think that that is purpose, or do you think it's just a thing, that a keepsake that the mom actually didn't actually throw away?
I mean, that's just so we know how she found
the daughter.
The card.
Yeah, the daughter was under the assumption that it was thrown. She remember the thought Emily threw it away, and then when she went back to go get it, the trash had already been taken, but she didn't. No one knew. The mother took it out. See, to the mom, Emily was like her greatest joy, but to Emily, her father, you know how it always is, daddy's little girl.
Yeah, so because you remember when they had the argument, and she told the daughter, like, your dad is lying to you. He's evil. He's not the person you think he is. So basically, that was the proof she had with the card, and then she dropped it, and she kept it in the box because she knew that Emily will come through, you know, and check through. And when she sees the box, she's gonna open it, of course.
You know. And you know what? It makes sense. She is delivering on her promise to the Sioux Nation guy from last episode, saying, you know, that my father's going to go through way worse, you know, with my way. Well, he just murdered his own daughter, and that's a lot of guilt that's going to be going his way.
Yeah.
Thinking that it was a host. See, he's living in that world. That world is getting to him.
And then, you know, and our boy Teddy decided to give his girl an L, because I knew that was going to happen. I knew Teddy's consciousness was going to kick back in. And you know what? I was actually happy because I wanted Dolores to suffer something, because I'm tired of her rubbish. I mean, she's doing this holier than thou thing for the last couple of episodes. Like, I know the way, the right way. You remember when she told the Sioux Nation that So that's the interesting aspect of that conversation, where, you know, the guys from the Sioux Nation was like, no, you can't go there. That's the doorway. And of course, we've heard even Ford mention that the doorway is to set them free. And then she's like, no, it's not setting us free. That she wants to go to the real world. But where does the doorway lead you to? Because I think Bernard said, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he was telling her the truth or not, but he said, the doorway location is the repository of all the data from clients, and that's the same repository that Ford got the information and gave it to him. Because remember, he said, look, we have a deal. I don't disturb you, take your stories, and you don't disturb us in our little adventure. He's like, I wasn't the one who broke the deal. Somebody, he mentioned, said somebody else's. I think it was either the board itself that broke the deal, because they had data on him. All that data was there. So I think that is, I think that's what it is. But what does it lead to? Is it
it looks like a big old library.
I mean, yeah, but
books.
All it is
preview.
Yeah, but that could be a virtual environment too.
It's just going to be ending with in a room with all of these just servers full of consumer data, and then on top of the servers of consumer data is this throne sitting with a Mark Zuckerberg at the top. You know, pretty much. That's how it's going to end.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting though. The other thing about the episode that was interesting was, to me, was basically the whole thing with Maeve and Ford. where Ford said that she was his favorite, you know, and he gave her extra superpowers, because he unlocked basically I think he unlocked the last level of.
He unlocked something in her because she's coming back next week.
Yeah, no, he unlocked the last level of permissions because right now, Maeve, as she is, has a lot of permissions accessible to her. But he unlocked everything else to me. I mean, that's what it looked like. He was like, "You're my favorite."
Granted, super user access.
Yeah, no, not super. No, I mean, like, remember, she already has super user access.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I mean, she just gave her, like Windows God mode. Done.
Yes.
Like, that's pretty much what she did, because she's coming back next week. She's also going to be part of that fight. Does she survive? Because it looks like the host that the Dell's Corporation reprogram is going to run through in the horse in the center of all the other hosts, and then she's going to tell them to kill themselves, which is why Maeve said run. But I think that's what it looks like to me, because that's the only reason why Maeve will be afraid of that, is that maybe she doesn't know how to stop that, or I guess it's also a signal. Once the signal's out, it's out.
Well, and we saw it in the episode with, it wasn't a horse, it was a buffalo that was running through, like, though
that I think that I feel that's when
that was a callback to season 1 when the
buffalo went. No. I don't think it's a callback. I think that's how Maeve escapes. She has access to everything in Westworld.
Well, did you notice too? For every episode, the opening credits has featured that buffalo crashing through glass too, and I'm wondering if that's going to be significant for us.
Yeah, we never saw that buffalo crash through glass in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the motif during the opening credits, but we haven't actually seen it in like live action. So I think Maeve has super access to the whole park.
She's got God mode. She's got something Bernard don't have.
Yeah, Bernard. I mean, Bernard gets shafted though. But the thing is that Bernard can create them. They can't create anything else.
Right.
So my other thing is, okay, because I'm still toying with the idea of the Man in Black being a host. Because, to me, it is possible, because then the reason why I say that is because Ford talks about humans like he hates himself.
Right.
We always thought that Arnold was the one who really wanted to be a machine, but Ford is talking like that. He's like, this world is, look at this creature that's tearing you up here, Maeve.
Not even that. The way he was kind of trying to push Bernard to kill Ellie, and Bernard was fighting him on it.
Yeah, he doesn't like human beings for being one himself. So, to me, that kind of feels like, I feel like that leads me back to the Man in Black saying he may be a hybrid host of part of his intentions and also part of William, maybe the younger William at some point. And then, which is why he never had full control over him, because.
And that would explain why Robert keeps coming back to him. Also, it would explain why he survived getting gut shot with a revolver and having minimal medical attention and is able to walk around.
Yeah. Maeve's still the only one who can leave the park. She's the only one who removed the device from her backbone. How will all the other hosts get out? That is true. I forgot about the device in the backbone. Yeah. She is the only one who can. Actually, no, they can all leave the park now, because for that, I think that device is an inhibitor or like an explosive or something. But because the central
hub
is destroyed, nothing's going to activate it. I mean, it will trip the sensor, but it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, but Ford wrote it in her to leave the park.
No, that was, she wrote it in her, and he also, remember when we were confused about, when Bernard looked at her storyline and says, leave the park and do this, it was Ford who actually wrote that in. He confirmed it this season, but it's interesting to see where it actually pans out.
Yeah, well, it's
he's going back for that damn child.
Yeah, but you can see why her child was important.
Well,
our child was basically last week's episode, when I watched it, I was like, man, I wish I was around to chat with you guys, because it was the Native American guy who helped spearhead some of her own consciousness as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was through the child, because the child never saved him, that would have never happened, and then
Yep.
she would never have gone through consciousness. So that's almost, you know what I mean, there's a reason why the child is there. There's levels of
She's the
connection.
key.
Yeah,
She's a key.
I love the fact, the idea that Dolores is Bernard's like favorite. Well, not Bernard, but Arnold's favorite. And thank you. And then Maeve was Robert's favorite. And so we had the two the two differing approaches towards freedom. Which is
it's very simple. I mean, what I actually thought was like, black guy builds white robot, white guy builds black robot. I mean, that's just literally what it was.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. Oh man, I don't know. I
bet the problem with that is, white guy who built black robot built her to be super strong, where white guy built her to be super crazy.
No, actually, Maeve is not the crazy one.
I'm not saying.
No, Dolores.
I meant Dolores is the crazy one.
Yeah.
She's got delusional tendencies in her brain. And then you notice when Teddy shot himself, she kind of had like a little sputter, like her consciousness went or something. I noticed that throughout the episode.
Does not compute moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that, but
like she lost her will. Like,
I mean, she lost her will, but I mean, that's a really interesting dichotomy you mentioned, though. I mean, like, it shows the paths they took, but what's his name? Ford wasn't trying to build consciousness into Maeve. He just built Maeve. Well, I think Bernard was toying on that with
Dolores.
Oh, Arnold was?
I mean, Arnold, yeah. I think Arnold.
Yeah.
Because Arnold took her out and he wanted her to learn all these different things. And
yeah, he was the genesis of the whole of the whole idea of being alive.
Yeah, because he left so basically the little maze is I forget what test it is. It's like the test for consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
great.
Huh?
It's like good thing he hid them all the mazes under their scalps, right where they find them.
yeah. But when the Native American guy Kiakuya found the maze, and then it started clicking in his head, and that's how he was, basically he got consciousness before everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But see, you know what's funny? When Teddy came online for the very first time, he looks over to Dolores and he fell in love. How did he have love tendencies so soon?
Probably pre-programmed.
It's probably programmed.
It's his cornerstone. She's his cornerstone. So they probably had her in their same room on purpose when they activated him, I would think.
No, she was in the same room with a few others.
Yeah, but
but it's just like, an association sort of thing. I would think, but that's just my theory.
No, I don't think it was on purpose. I think, remember, they were also they're still one of the early units. So the early units that we saw this season were Dolores, Teddy, and Kiakuya. Those were the Gen 1 units. Remember, he wasn't updated for 10 years.
Well, and
the 5G wasn't working good.
Was Teddy around when William first came in last season? Came.
Oh, when William? No, when not last season. I mean this season.
I guess the first time young William came to the park, was Teddy around then?
Oh yeah, Teddy was around. Remember, Teddy
kept dying.
Yeah, he didn't go to pick up the can because somebody else grabbed him to go on a mission.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And that's where William picked up the can, and then that's how.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, but Teddy was Gen 1 as well with her. Remember, even the Man in Black kind of stated it too, as in season 1, oh, Teddy, man, you haven't changed at all. So that aspect was there. I mean, it's interesting to see where the season ends, because we know that a ton of the hosts die.
Mm-hmm.
That part. No, I think Maeve survives,
Maeve's finally gonna get out.
and
Mm-hmm.
get out. What happened to Kiyokui at the end? I can't remember now. Did anything happen to him or no?
All we know last week he's got the child and that's it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna probably see the intersection of that at some point. And then we'll see what the door is. What does it lead to? What world does it lead to? Is it a completely virtual world where all the hosts, all the humans are actually alive in there? Like they've
Well,
taken the consciousness and they've created that in there.
that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, because remember in the preview we see I forgot his name, but the stepbrother of
Yeah,
William
the young
in there. And
the
he looks
brother-in-law.
very kind of unhappy with the situation, and it's probably because he's downloaded in a perpetual digital purgatory. that's my personal.
Well, I mean, but he's doing what he does best: to just sleep, shoot, and have sex,
and be unhappy about most things.
Yeah. So that I think that kind of makes sense there. But hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Any final thoughts on the episode, guys?
I will say, I have really enjoyed. It's a little thing, but I've really enjoyed how they've handled the last time on Westworld. There's not a single, like the way they cut it and edit it. There's not a single word stated except for what was clips from the previous episodes, and I really like how they do that recap.
Well, it's not even just that. If you notice in the preview for this episode, they said last time on Westworld, they showed the death of the wife, which we didn't see last week.
Mm-hmm.
They showed the water. I was like, no, that was not there last week.
Well, no, it's not last week, but it was there in previous episode flashbacks they've had.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Him running up the stairs, and you just see the water.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just the last time we saw it, there was like slow piano music playing, and it was like, we're gonna tease you with this, and then
cut. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I really like how they've been handling that. Like it's been artistic, yet also legitly informative on things that we need to remember.
Yeah. How about you, Lou?
I don't have any.
Very exciting, man. Very exciting.
Just looking forward to watching the finale next week. The finale is going to be a mini movie.
How long?
They got, dude, it has to be at least 120.
Okay.
They got to tie up a lot of stuff.
No, not too much though.
They got to leave enough to want us coming in for a third season.
Remember Westworld,
you're coming in for a third season because now you know.
Westworld doesn't tie up all the stories. The story we're going to tie up is the door. The door will be tied up because we're getting there. Mm-hmm. Everyone's getting there.
See, what they opened up is the man in black cutting into his arm because most likely
they're not going to tie that part up for us.
They're not.
No.
So next week they're not going to tie that up. That'll be a third season shindig that they tie up in the third season. Everything works in sequences. So next week is going to be the door. He makes it through. I think Bernard triggers something to set the water because he was standing in one spot and water started coming up below him.
Bernard asked Ford for help. He thought he wiped it out, but Bernard can't wipe Ford out.
Of course not. You can't get rid of your homie like that.
Yeah.
Bernard, you ain't got no super user access, man. He doesn't even have super user access, let alone God mode. Come on.
You need to keep Ford around.
There's no way that's gonna happen. So there's the water. There's a bunch of things happening next episode, but it would be very interesting to see. Paul says the episode's going to run for 90 minutes. So
good. See, but I am a little disappointed that they have underutilized Floki.
Oh,
yeah. I would agree. I would agree but then again, the position that he was in for, as soon as I saw him not as a host, then I knew he wasn't going to be as pivotal, because the only other human person who's pivotal is Tessa Thompson, and maybe the guy who's the storyteller. To a certain degree, he was for a couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. So that's about it. So if Floki was a host, then he would have been useful somewhere, because you will get either one full episode with Floki, or like for instance, like the guy from the bike show, the guy who's Kiyakura.
Hmm.
The Native American?
Yeah, wasn't he on the show that
He's
you
on
like?
Longmire.
I think.
Sorry. Okay, look, my bad. I thought it was a
Oh
mentor. My bad. But he was well used. We saw him snippets, and then we see him for one full episode, and we know him, right? We already know the
Oh
character.
yeah, that episode it was great at introducing a character that we've had snippets of before, but fully fleshing him out and making us like actually like emotionally feel for him. That was I rewatched that episode earlier today, and man, it was such a good episode.
Oh, it was a good season episode 8 that they didn't actually reveal anything.
Right, and if this was ever going to get an Emmy, I feel like it would be get it for that episode.
Oh yeah, it was gut wrenching.
That was like their Emmy episode.
They took away his wife, man. I was like, yo, that's just so wrong. He's like, then I had to die. I knew I had to go to get her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they took away his wife, replaced her with some other chick, and he felt like.
And then he died, and then he went to see her, and he thought he saved her, and he was like,
and he realized he couldn't save anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like,
it goes to tell you that homie was walking around the park for 10 years without a download.
I know, that's intense. And he's like, hey, why am I not aging? Oh, okay, whatever.
But he knew there was something different with him. He knew that.
That's true.
He already knew at that point early on. He's like, remember when he even met his wife? He's like, no, this is not our world. We die and come back, but this is not our world. So at that point, if he's not dying, then he knows that it doesn't matter. You know,
it's true. Yeah.
So it's only when he met the wife's mother, and then he was like, I know how I can get them back. So that was interesting. It was a really good episode. That was really
this season by far has been on point.
Yeah, no, it has been. I mean, I keep seeing people writing about how the season is hit or miss, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've enjoyed every episode of the season because they've gone into a lot of story arcs and characters, which we didn't get in the first season. But then again, they were first season was all about laying the groundwork and giving us this overarching theme for Westworld that we can spring up from. And the character moments in this season has been great all around. But even I myself, I still have a feeling. Part of me now is thinking maybe the Man in Black was right. Maybe that wasn't his daughter. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I know that's not there, but I'm even having the doubts that he had now. As I'm thinking about the episode, I'm going.
I knew she was a daughter all along.
Yeah, I mean, I knew she was a daughter all along, but I mean, he had so much doubt. Like,
and then when he hit her with that whole. Ford. I never told no one about my profile. And then
I was like, yeah.
Oh, shit, what have I done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with the Man in Black. I am doubting
his story is nowhere near done.
Oh no.
I have a feeling he's going to become a host in Future World.
I mean, oh yeah, I forgot about Future World.
I think that's where they're going to tie it all up. It's going to be if it goes season 5 will be Future World. And the Man in Black
is a host.
Still around.
I say the Man in Black is a host. I'm going to call it out now. I may be completely wrong, but Man in Black is a host that was created by Ford so he can take over the Delos Corporation.
Oh man,
But then that's going to be an interesting way how Ford did that. Because you've seen that they couldn't get it done with James Delos. What, did Ford figure it out? And he's just keeping it coy?
Well,
the man is so I guess you could call technically he's another version of Bernard. If he's using only part of William, not the whole memories, using snippets and also captured memories and all that to put together.
Because he goes there every
year.
Man in Black. Because he goes there. The wife said he goes there every year. So they definitely have his data.
Yeah. So at some point he would know.
It didn't seem like he went there. It seemed like he lived there.
I mean, the dude was rich enough and one of the most powerful people out there. So yeah. Yeah, but the thing about Westworld, I want to see more of that outside world. I know we got a snippet and with some bad CGI HBO, which wasn't cool. But I want to know.
CGI has bad set building.
I want to know how different this world is. I want to know where the park is. We know it's somewhere in the Eastern China Sea, that kind of stuff. But I want to know I want to know what the real world is like.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The only problem storytelling wise is it'll be hard to get back out of that. And then I feel like Westworld runs the risk of losing its little niche that it has storytelling wise.
If they do future world, they should use the real world as the counterbalance for that.
Yeah, I mean, if they handle that and they can balance it right, then it'd be really good. They're on the tightrope that they're walking on. Just gets a lot narrower, whenever they cross that bridge. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But it'd be interesting, especially if they do it right.
Yeah, it will be. All right, guys. Everyone, thank you very much. Just one more comment here from Paul. Don't worry, next season we'll have AT&T money. That is very true.
Oh God.
No, it's true though. I mean, AT&T. We talked about in the weekly. It's going to inject $2.5 billion to HBO alone. So you're talking.
They want, dude. You know who's getting the majority of that money?
Who?
It's going to be Game of Thrones prequel series set 10,000 years before the events we're dealing with now.
Oh, no. There are two, at least. So the first one is greenlit. The second one is about to be greenlit. So there are two Game of Thrones shows coming up as well. And then, Westworld is going to get some of that extra cash too as well.
Westworld will get some money, but all the money is going to Game of Thrones.
But Westworld does not need all the money. It just needs the extra 2 or 3 million to do those special effects that we need. That's it.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones would do the rest.
Now it makes me wish that The Expanse was picked up by HBO and you get that extra budget.
Oh, if Expanse was picked up by HBO, oh my God.
No. The Expanse is fine where it is. The Expanse is fine on Amazon. Not that I'm an Amazon user, but think about it. Amazon dropped $1 billion for 2 seasons of Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is different from The Expanse. Like Lord of the Rings is a guaranteed
I get it. I don't know about that, man.
I agree.
Oh,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
$1 per season.
Well, and also just doing the Lord of the Rings.
So here's
that masterpiece of the film was made.
Here's the thing. I mean, they say it's $1 billion for that, and I guarantee you that $1 billion is probably for 5 seasons. It's not to even if it was just doing special effects, like it's not going to cost that much. Trust me, it's not going to cost $1 billion for that. It's going to cost like for maybe 1.5 seasons will probably cost like 300 million to make.
Well,
but it's for them to extend it all the way through. It means that if it's good, they can keep go forward.
They don't have much sets to build because they can still. And where did they film?
New Zealand? No, it's not the sets. It's based from what I'm hearing. It's based off Cimarron, and Cimarron has a lot of godly like fighting. There's the elves coming down. There's the master of Sauron himself, not Sauron.
Is it Malekith?
Mal something.
Something. I've been playing Elder Scrolls, so all those names.
They are like elves on a different level. I mean, like it's almost
so
like
Legolas on steroids.
Not even on steroids. Like when I say on a different level, I mean like you take it to
Galadriel, above Galadriel.
Yeah, you take it like it's like they went to Dragon Ball Z God mode for that.
Yeah.
that's how that. So it's a very different level where there's a lot of special effects required.
Where does this book take place in this whole thing? Is this the book before The Hobbit?
It is, yes, I believe.
I mean, timeline, wise, it is.
Oh, so we don't get no Gandalf. Damn it.
Yes.
I don't want any Gandalf that's not Ian McKellen, though.
No, Gandalf is not Gandalf. So Gandalf is not a human. Gandalf's people are there as well.
Right.
So
like Radagast the Grey is there and everything.
Yeah. So I think Gandalf might be there. Gandalf the Grey, is there.
Yeah, and Radagast the Brown is also there. Yeah. He's just not riding
Bunny Rabbit. Bunny Rabbit sled.
Yeah, he didn't lose his mind. He didn't lose his mind about that one. But yeah, but anyway, guys, let's wrap up before we start doing a Lord of the Rings discussion here on this show. Thank you very much for watching. And again, guys, thank you for hosting the show last week.
How about that ending with the Expanse, man?
Look, I would love to talk Expanse. I was going to say that too, but no. No. We're not running past the show time. Anyway,
Yo,
guys.
homie got sucked up into the air, suit stripped
No,
off, and he was
no.
put in the ground.
Let us chill on the expanse for a second. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Thank you guys for chiming in the chat. If you're watching later, leave your thoughts and comments on the show Westworld season 2 episode 9. If you want to leave comments on the other stuff we're talking about, go ahead and do that. We'll try and answer them for you. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel and always enjoy entertainment.